In the midnight glow where the stars align, we lose ourselves in the rhythm divine. Underneath the sky painted with dreams we're chasing.
Hello and welcome to episode 23. I'm Jody.
And I'm Mari.
Today we are going to talk about the Spring Equinox and Aries season. New Year's resolutions start on January 1st, but if you study astrology, you know the new year does not technically start until Aries season, which just kicked off. It's kind of silly to think that we're going to make any big changes in January. And I know you've talked about this before, Mari. Like, it's the middle of winter. We're hunkered down. It's really hibernation time. It's not launching time. At least I don't feel that.
Most people don't, I don't think, especially because of, the light, the dark. We are in the dark season and it does something to our circadian rhythm to slow down and to rest.
Yeah. Maybe it's because we live in an area where we do have the 4 seasons. Once Aries season starts, that's springtime, that's fire. And we have a lot of fire going on in the skies right now in Aries. This is just a really great time to launch anything you've been waiting on and just really embracing the timing. It's the astrological New Year, so we thought this would be a great time to start a new series. So each month, we're going to walk you through your chart. It's really like following the sun through your chart. If you've been listening to us, we did talk about that a little bit on another episode, but we thought we'd just kind of lead you through for 2026 and kick off with Aries.
Yeah, I'm really excited about doing this series for you all this year and bringing in the flavor and archetypes of each of the signs and how you can best work with them. We'll walk you through each of the houses. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the spring equinox in general. It is a point of equal day and night. It is an actual balance point and a turning point into the more yang and the expansion part of the year. And the yin and sort of contraction part of the year is the dark half of the year. And that is done now, which I, for one, am celebrating very much. I am a lover of the light. Don't get me wrong. I do love my rest seasons as well, but I crave light and I am just so excited for where we're headed and us here, particularly in the Northern Hemisphere. And we are in like no joke Northern Hemisphere up here in Northern Wisconsin.
Yes.
Northern Hemisphere, but we experience winter here.
We still have snow on the ground right now.
We do. It is almost gone, thank God. After yesterday, we had a beautifully warm day here. Spring showed up in style yesterday, that's for sure, with a beautiful, sunny, warm day. And I'm happy about it. It's a time of rebirth, renewal, and emergence. The earth is waking up, at least here. We're just like those tiny the seeds under the ground and the plants are just starting to wake up. And before you know it, they're going to be popping through the surface. But we really are right at that verge. It's a threshold moment. Really nice to get aligned with that, with your own choices and intentions. Well, this is initiating energy. We're starting something fresh. And we're moving from that inner sort of winter, even on a personal level, into the outer expression of spring and summer. It's not a time to rush yet, but it is like a sacred emergence. This is kind of like the inhale before the action, the moment that the seed breaks open beneath the soil.
Yeah, for sure. So we entered into Aries season with what I'm going to say is a bang, because we had the sun, the moon, Neptune, Saturn, Venus, all in Aries, plus Chiron's in Aries right now. So that is a lot of fiery energy. I mean, the transition, we're coming from that dreamy internal Pisces into this very fiery Aries. It is going to feel a little bit different. It's going to feel like, and it's a slow transition. So we're just getting there and we have, the approximately 30 days before we roll into Taurus. But we still have a lot of planets that are going to stay in fire. And that's going to be really the highlight for the next how long? I don't even know what to say there, because Saturn and Neptune are going to stay in Aries for a while. Neptune for sure.
Yeah. Yes. Neptune is 14 years in the sign of Aries. Saturn will be there. It's about 2.5 years per sign. So we're here for a bit with the extra potency of fire. Aries season comes around every single year, and the faster moving planets, the personal planets, will be moving through Aries, right? So you're going to feel that. But we have these outer planets now, planets that stay so that adds this really heightened potency and intensity to fire and to Aries this year and for several years to come.
Yeah, that fire and air feeds fire. So you can have too much. And also it can get you ignited and moving because it's a lot of fire energy. And it's all about courage and moving forward. And on a global level, we have a lot of crazy things going on. But I personally am not somebody who likes to focus on the things that I don't have control over. We have control over ourselves, and we have our charts to help lead us through our personal lives. Plus, it's a good thing to focus on when the other things are not so fun. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is a planet of action. It's our drive, it's our movement, it's our discipline. It's meant to move. It's not meant to be stagnant or for us to sit in overthinking. So if that's been happening to you, and I'm speaking from experience myself, then now is the time to take that action. So that's really what Aries and all this energy is asking for us, to take action. I'm going to just talk a little bit on an elemental level. Again, fire. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 planets in fire, luminaries planets in fire, and that is a lot right now. Fire is our life force, our inspiration, it's courage, it's action, it's instinct, it's passion. And fire can be warm and it can move, it can transform. So with the fire energy, you may feel more motivated, maybe not yet, because again, the sun just entered Aries, but we still have a lot of other things happening in Aries right now. So maybe you're already feeling it. You might feel more restless and more ready to take risks. Like, okay, it's time to move now. It's really just a concentration of the fire energy. So we can feel the pressure to grow. We can feel desire to change, impatience with any old patterns we have. So if you have old patterns, this is a time where you're going to really feel like it doesn't work anymore. So it's time to just move on. Courage surfaces. Your identity can shift. New beginnings are forming. Again, fire does not want to stay still. It really wants movement and expression. So the initiation is not to rush or burn out. It is to direct the energy into an intention. So if you have something you've been working on, it's time to launch it.
Yes. I myself have something I am going to be launching during this season. I'm just going to leave that up there as a teaser and not tell you what it is yet.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. I just wanted to add in another quick little layer about Aries specifically. And from the evolutionary astrology perspective, Aries is very much also, yes, courage, yes, movement, yes, fire, all those things. But it is also the I am energy. It is very much about identity. It is the soul choosing incarnation and embodiment. Remember, it's the beginning of the zodiac. It is the beginning of life. It is birth, right? So it is the courage to individuate, to be, it's a great time for self-exploration. And what is it that I want? Asking yourself questions like that. Like, what do I want for this new year, right? And then just some kind of archetypal things and light and shadow expressions of Aries. The core archetypes of Aries are the warrior, the pioneer, and the initiator. And in its gift or light expression, that's courageous, direct, motivated, passionate, and trailblazing. But some of the shadow expressions to be aware of are impulsivity, reactivity, anger or frustration, self-focus, right? In its shadow, Aries can be selfish ultimately because it is so aware only of self. There are many, many evolved Aries out there that are not selfish, but I'm just expressing that as one shadow element, one thing to be aware of. It's to be in service to the people around you sometimes helps balance that when we're in Aries season. Go get out there and do something for someone else as well. Or burnout or from overextension is another shadow from taking all of this energy and trying to overextend yourself. So just a few shadow elements to be aware of and some of the beautiful gifts and archetypal energy for Aries.
With this whole Aries stellium that we have going on, the moon started out in Aries on the 20th. So by the time you're listening to this, it's moved on, but everybody has probably felt it. The moon in Aries is going to give you heightened emotions, instinct. Again, this is your moon in fiery Aries. So on the high road, it's going to just make you come alive and you get fired up and, want to embrace that energy. And the sun in Aries is all about that renewal and vitality and clarity around personal direction. And then Venus in Aries is courage, boldness in relationships and authentic connections. And then we have Saturn in Aries, which teaches us discipline, courage, and responsibility for the path that we're on. And Saturn really isn't comfortable in Aries because Saturn is that disciplined principle. And Aries is more like the spontaneous warrior.
Saturn is slow moving energy. It's earthy and it is very slow moving. And so the impatience of Aries, it's like, come on, Saturn, let's do this. And Saturn's like, we must do things methodically and slowly and the right way.
Right. And the Neptune in Aries, Neptune again is very slow moving, and it's really awakening a spiritual vision on who you want to become. And then last but not least, we have Chiron in Aries, which offers healing around identity and the right to exist as we are. Together, all these influences are very powerful. And we just wanted to help all of you see where this focus is in your chart.
Yeah, so that is the energy we have right now. But just another highlight coming up, and this will be right towards the end of Aries season, April 16th. If you have been listening to our previous episodes, and I would highly recommend that you do, they are excellent, if I do say so myself. Mm-hmm. We have already talked about specifically Neptune, because Neptune is going to be in Aries for such a long time. We've talked about Neptune at length and what that feels like in Aries and through each of the houses for each of you specifically, and what that might bring. So we did a deep dive there. I just wanted to bring up the fact that on April 16th, we are really that Saturn-Neptune energy that has been talked about a lot. Remember Saturn and Neptune meeting at the 0 point of Aries in February as this very unique launch point in history that hasn't happened for 6,000 years. And its unique configuration with Pluto and Uranus, the sort of supportive flowing triangle that they're making has not happened in recorded history as far as we know, as far back as we can go in astrology. This has never happened. It is very unique, an exciting chapter for humanity from my perspective. And the kind of really big launch point of that Aries energy specifically for me is actually the April 16th convergence, where we have Mercury, Neptune, Mars, Saturn, the moon, the sun, and Chiron all in Aries. So that's an extra planet more than what we have even right now. And we haven't seen a conjunction like that in Aries in a very, very long time. So it is such potent energy to be working with this month. And Jody already kind of went over each of those planets in Aries, what they mean. So I'm not going to hit on that again, but this is a complete reset of identity and direction. And the key themes are massive new beginnings, identity restructuring, soul aligned action, healing through courage, and visions becoming reality. Take advantage of this time. And if you are thinking about something new for yourself, this would be a great couple of weeks before then to really get clear on that and use that, even specifically on that date, use that date as a launch point for yourself for something new that you're excited about. And I think that leads us into maybe going through this energy house by house to break it down.
Right. So it's always a good idea to look at your actual chart. So if you have your birth chart, because it's different if you're using Placidus versus whole sign, and we both use Placidus. If you have your natal birth chart, if you have one, and if you don't have one, you have a couple options. You can go to astro.com, which is a website that you can pull a free natal report, or you could reach out to me or Mari, and we have our websites in the description below, and we can help you get a natal birth chart. And then you'd look at your chart and you'd look and see where Aries is, and then look at what house it's in. And in Placidus, a lot of times it's going to be in 2 houses. So kind of take that into consideration as we go through this. And this will give you an idea where exactly in your chart is this going to be highlighting? Where is all this fiery energy going to be? And then you can work with that. Okay. All right. So now we'll go through Aries through the 12 houses, and it's a deeper look at where courage is calling you. When Aries energy activates the house that it's in, this is where life is asking you to move, where initiate and trust yourself in that area. So it can feel energizing. It can also feel uncomfortable because, again, fiery Aries wants us to move, and sometimes we are resistant. So embrace that fire and use this energy to help you move forward. We'll start off with Aries in the first house. Aries in the first house, this activation brings a powerful call to redefining who you are. So you may feel restless with old identities, and there is a desire to take initiative and step into a more confident version of yourself. Growth happens when you lead your life rather than waiting for validation from others. And I'm going to add in an essential oil for support. So for those of you who've been listening, know that I am an essential oil enthusiast. And if you are new here, I really love essential oils and I love pulling them into astrology and to my practices. So a great oil to support energy in the first house would be peppermint for motivation and clarity, or wild orange to encourage confidence and joyful self-expression. So a quick little note, if you're wondering how you would pull those into your practice, you could, if you have an essential oil diffuser, you could put a few drops in your diffuser and then diffuse it in the room that you're in. Or you can take a drop and just rub it in your hands and cup your hands over your hand and mouth and take a few deep breaths. Or you can also mix it up with some coconut oil and then just apply it on you. And it will also give you the aromatic benefits and the topical benefits. Do you have anything to add for Aries?
If you have Aries in the first house, this transits, this season, and, the energy. When I was making my notes, I added in the energy of the full potency of Neptune there, Saturn there as well. Because it's, like I said, it's extra potent and it has a unique flavor to it because of those outer planets. So what this might feel like for you is restlessness and an urgency to change, a desire to show up differently, letting go of an old identity. So when I'm saying these things, I feel like typically with Aries season, if these outer planets weren't sitting there as well, it might feel a little less big, less like life altering, right? But because of that, we are in a time of big changes wherever you have Aries. So working with it, things that you can do are claim your space unapologetically, reinvent yourself in some way wherever your soul is leading you. Try something new physically, moving your body in some new way that calls to you. And, just change something about how you show up, whether that be in your habits, your appearance. Ultimately, you're looking at identity and what is most authentic for you now.
Okay. All right. Aries in the second house. So here, courage is needed around self-worth, finances, your stability. You may feel motivated to make bold decisions related to your income or your resources. This can be a time to learn to really trust your value, build your security from within rather than relying on external circumstances.
Yes, and just to echo that, you may be feeling money pressure during this time or motivation. This might be lighting a fire under you to start something new, a new side hustle or project, or jump into a new way to bring in income, or just have some sort of self-motivation around, honestly, self-care because of the second house's emphasis on self-worth as well. And realizing where you've undervalued yourself, what your true worth is, maybe financially, maybe you're worth more, maybe you want to ask for a raise, or just where your true worth is within yourself and understanding that. And working with this, it's a great time to raise your standards, start something income related, charge what you're actually worth, take initiative with money, and like I said, possibly start a new income stream.
And for essential oil support for the second house, you could use ginger for strengthening your inner courage. Patchouli is also great for promoting that grounding and sense of security. All right, next we have Aries in the third house. So your thoughts, your communication patterns are all being energized You may feel called to speak up, learn something new, or change the way you process your information. Growth comes from expressing yourself honestly and allowing curiosity to judge you beyond old mental limitations.
Yes, you might have a fresh energy behind your voice, meaning you have an urge to speak up and to share and to create in some way, whether that be sharing through or speaking, literally starting a podcast, right? Something like that. But also, this could feel like mental overwhelm. So something to be aware of there, or downloads. You might have these sudden insights coming in quickly, right? Because of the speed and fire of Aries. So start speaking, podcasting, writing, sharing. Say the thing you've been holding back. Speak your truth and share your ideas boldly. Those are all ways to work with this energy.
Essential oil support for the third house would be spearmint for mental clarity and fresh perspectives. Spearmint is a great oil to help open up your throat chakra. So if you're going to speak, this is one of my favorite oils to just apply over my throat before speaking. It just helps with that clarity, that communication, and it smells wonderful. And then lemon also is great for supporting confidence and communication. All right, next we have Aries in the fourth house. This activation brings movement to emotional foundations and your home life. You may feel the urge to change your living situation or create a deeper inner security. Courage, that means facing family patterns or emotional habits and choosing to build a stronger sense of safety within yourself.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It could feel like emotional intensity during this time. Be sure to be gentle with yourself and take the self-care that you need if intense things do come up for you around home, roots, family patterns, those types of things. But ultimately, there's probably a desire for a new foundation or a foundation more aligned with your truth. Working with this, it's asking you to heal something at the root and redefine what home means to you and take action on emotional healing. It's a good time to actually take that action if you've been feeling that push or, that nudge that there's an area that needs healing. This is a fire, lighting a fire under you in that area. But ultimately, really create and hone a safe base for yourself.
Essential oil support for the fourth house would be cedarwood. It's great for grounding and for emotional stability. Lavender also would be a great oil for soothing the nervous system and helping create calm. Aries in the fifth house, creative energy and the desire for joy are ignited. So you may feel ready to take risks in love, hobbies, or self-expression. This is about allowing yourself to be seen and choose authenticity over fear of judgment. Confidence grows when you follow what feels fun and alive.
Yes, this is absolutely a desire to express yourself fully. So that creative surge within you, which is really exciting. So working with it is basically follow what excites you. What's your passion? What are you lit up about right now? Create, play, express, take risks in joy and romance. Obviously, calculated risks.
Yeah.
Risks with discernment. But, it is about taking bold action, right? So, maybe you're the one to be brave enough to ask out that person that you have been wanting to ask out and too afraid to do it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, follow your passions. Just follow that spark.
Essential oil support would be wild orange for playfulness and creative flow, and Langy Lang to support heart opening and confidence in expression. Aries in the sixth house, this is all about daily routines and health patterns that are going to come into focus. You may feel motivated to improve your habits or take greater ownership of your work life. This placement supports building momentum through consistent action and learning to trust your ability to create positive change.
This can really feel like I need to get my life together type of pressure, right? Motivation to improve systems and routines in your life. If things just have felt a little stagnant, they might want some fresh energy. So start one new habit that you've been circling around maybe, right? Take action on your health. Start new routines that feel aligned and exciting to you. Build your momentum through discipline, because that's a perfect sort of meshing of sixth house themes, discipline, right? And the momentum to follow through on them.
Essential oil support for the 6th house would be rosemary for focus and productivity, or eucalyptus to support energy and the breath. Aries in the 7th house is all about relationships becoming space for growth and honest expression. You may be asked to set clearer boundaries or communicate your needs more directly. This activation brings new partnerships or shifts existing ones. The lesson is to balance independence with cooperation.
You may be feeling tension or clarity in your relationships. This can show up in several different ways, depending on where you're at in a relationship. But ultimately, there's a desire for honesty. So working with this, have the conversation that has been nagging at you that you know you need to have. Choose authenticity over peacekeeping. And by that, I mean, speak the truth in love. Peacekeeping is good, but not if it's suppressing something that needs to be said and communicated. And we can do that in a way that is loving and caring and kind, but it gets what needs to be said out there, right? So be direct in your relationships from a loving place and initiate those important conversations. And redefine your boundaries is another possible theme. If you are feeling like you have been allowing too much and your boundaries have been crossed, redefine your boundaries and really hold fast to them. Those are all ways to work with this energy in the 7th house.
Essential oil support is geranium for emotional balance in relationships, or bergamot to encourage openness and courage and connection. Aries in the 8th house, this is all about deep emotional transformation that is unfolding. So you may confront fears around vulnerability, trust, or shared resources. This can be an intense but empowering time. Growth comes from facing what has been hidden and allowing yourself to experience deeper emotional honesty.
You may be feeling a push to face something that you've been avoiding, and that it's lighting a fire under your butt to do the thing.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what it feels like.
Sure.
Because it does. It's the fire, and it has that sort of feeling of like, it's time. This thing that I've been kind of circling around or avoiding, I need to face it. I need to deal with it. So if you have Aries in the 8th house, working with this is about leaning into the discomfort. Do the shadow work, therapy, deep healing, face those fears, take action in those areas. Transformation comes through honesty here as well, honesty with yourself and those around you.
Essential oil support for Aries in the 8th house is going to be frankincense for grounding and spiritual awareness, or myrrh to support emotional resilience and inner strength. Aries in the 9th house, your beliefs and sense of direction are expanding. You may feel drawn to travel, study, or spiritual exploration. Courage here involves stepping beyond familiar perspectives and trusting your desire for growth and meaning.
This can definitely show up for you as restlessness. That is a great word to apply to the 9th house in general. And then if you have Aries there, you've got itchy feet. You want to go and explore and do and expand. And ultimately, the underlying theme of that is a desire for more meaning in your life. So say yes to something new. Travel, study, teach, take a leap of faith, and share your beliefs boldly. But again, every time I say share or speak or be honest, always with love, always coming from a place of love and not forcing your belief system or your truths on someone else, but from your own authenticity with love. Share your beliefs.
Essential oil support for the 9th house is grapefruit for optimism and forward vision. Douglas fir to support expansion and movement towards new experiences. Aries in the 10th house, this is career and public identity, and they're being activated. You may feel ready to pursue leadership roles or redefine success on your own terms. This placement supports taking initiative professionally and aligning ambition with your authentic purpose.
Yeah, so this can definitely feel like a pressure to step up in your career or in the way that you show up in the world in a public sense. Themes around your visibility fears and an excitement and a passion to share. So working with this, take a bold step publicly. Start the thing you've been waiting on and go after your goals publicly. Take leadership positions if that's something that you've been feeling the call to, and start something new career-wise. Again, if you've been feeling that call in any of these areas and that sort of subtle whispering, now is the time to take the action, right? This is the fire is here and it's fully supporting this action.
An essential oil support is black pepper for confidence and bold action, vetiver for grounding and long-term focus. If you have Aries in the 11th house, friendships and long-term visions may shift. You can feel motivation to join new communities and take action towards future goals. Growth happens when you stand confidently in your individuality while contributing to the collective change.
This can feel like big ideas coming in for you about the future. You might be having inspiring ideas that you want to bring into fruition and having this vision for the collective and for humanity. And ultimately a desire to connect with your community, connect with the people around you and groups that inspire you. So share your vision, find your people, initiate community connections, and take action towards your dreams, because the 11th house is also the house of your hopes and dreams. There are long-term plans.
Essential oil support for the 11th house would be clary sage for inspiration and visionary thinking, lime to support social confidence and enthusiasm. Aries in the 12th house is a quieter but deeply powerful activation. You may feel the need for rest, reflection, and emotional release. Old fears or subconscious patterns may surface to be healed. Courage here means trust the unseen process of renewal before a major new beginning.
Yeah, Aries in the 12th is an interesting energy. It, especially with all of this energy coming into that house, there is definitely that need for solitude and going inward with this house. But right now you have extra fire, which to me, I'm picturing like holding a light in the darkness, holding a torch in the darkness in those areas that are sometimes hard for us to see. This is giving you energy towards that and more clarity in that area, having all of this planetary energy in that area. So you may be feeling emotional waves coming in faster than normal with the speed of this fire, but ultimately it's giving you the courage to face your inner world and to face those things and address those things within yourself. And also the spark to begin a spiritual practice, perhaps, and really do the work in that area. But also to never forget that when you have a lot of energy in the 12th house, rest and retreat is essential, even if it is fire energy, even if it is that kind of push and that urgency. For you, rest is essential in this area, going inward, and the need for solitude. So take the time for that. Take the initiative to maybe take yourself on a silent retreat if you feel the urge, but ultimately go inward and take the light that is shining in this area so that you can see clearer into your own soul.
Essential oil support for Aries in the 12th house would be Roman chamomile for calming the nervous system, or sandalwood for that deep inner connection and spiritual grounding. Well, that's all the houses.
Yeah. As a personal little anecdote, I even made myself giggle a little bit with it because I realized it after the fact. I have Aries in my 3rd house and all of these planets moving into my 3rd house. And we just went over those themes, right? About speaking your truth. And I was emphasizing speak your truth in love. And really, I think it was 3 or 4 days ago, I was reading a book by Noah Ben-Shea called Jacob the Baker, and just like poetic wisdom and anecdotes. It's a really beautiful book. But I loved this quote in there, and I pulled it out and I shared it on my Facebook. And just now I realized how Aries in the 3rd house it was. So the quote is, "Love without honesty is betrayal. Honesty without love is cruelty. Be loving and speak the truth. What other people hear is their own work." And I shared that on Facebook. And then as I'm sitting here, I'm like, there is astrology working literally in my life in real time. And I didn't even notice it, right? That the themes that I'm currently going through, I was like, oh, what an amazing quote and something that I wanted to share. So I love that. It just occurred to me and I was like, oh man, that is so spot on. So I thought I would share it.
It is, for sure. I love it. The astrological new year isn't asking for perfection. It's asking us to participate. And we don't need to know the entire path. We just need to have the courage to begin. The new year of your soul begins the moment you say yes to your own fire, especially with all of this energy in Aries, the stellium of planets in Aries.
Yeah. And I wanted to say to you, this might feel intense, like everything is happening at once. That's because it's happening on multiple layers of your life. Multiple layers of your life are being initiated at the same time with all of this planetary energy right there. So if it does feel intense and it feels like everything's happening at once, it kind of is, and everybody's feeling that no matter what house you have this in. So just some practical ways to work with Aries season kind of for everybody, just across the board, and all of this Aries energy we're moving into. Move your body daily. Try something new. Start the thing before you're ready. That's something that Aries can help you with, is if you're a perfectionist like me, you know what? It helps you move past that and just go, launch the thing anyway. Do it anyway. Do it scared, right? If you are feeling anger, channel it constructively, because that can come up as like an emotional part of all of this Aries energy. It can be a frustration and anger and all of that passion. And right now, what's happening in the collective and out in the world and the things that we're hearing in the news, it would be very easy to fuel that anger. But if you can take it and channel it constructively into something helpful and of service, that is a great way to work with that emotion. Practice direct communication. On the spiritual aspect, or from a spiritual lens, it's a great time for fire rituals, candle magic, set intentions and act on them, take initiative and action. And as Jody mentioned earlier, like right when we started the podcast, she talked about going from overthinking into action, right? If you've been spinning on something in your head, move it into action and trust your instincts. And then one final thing, I just want to bring in the idea of a gentle balance here as well, because Aries can go so hard that just remember, rest is still sacred. Not every action needs urgency. So choose aligned action, not frantic action. Aries teaches us to begin, but wisdom teaches us how to sustain our energy ultimately. So if you have a lot of energy at first, you might have all of this gusto and then it can peter out. So just something to be aware of. Remember balance, but this here energy is here to serve you and to give you that extra boost right now. So take it and run with it.
Well, that's all we have for you for this episode. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for joining us under the stars today. We hope you're leaving feeling inspired, grounded, and more connected to your inner truth.
And if you loved this episode, we would be so grateful if you would subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with someone you love.
If you're ready to explore your soul's path through psychological, evolutionary astrology, and personal astrological coaching, you can find Mari at yoursoulpurposeastrology.com or follow her on Instagram and Facebook at Your Soul Purpose Astrology.
And if you're ready to illuminate your birth chart and explore how essential oils can support your emotional and energetic alignment, you can find Jody at earthandskyessentials.com or at Earth and Sky Essentials on Facebook and Instagram.
And remember, your soul is always guiding you.
The magic starts within.